So I was laying in bed here listening to this radio station, AM 620, KPOJ in Portland, Oregon, with Carl Wolfson, the Carl in the Morning, and his producer. There used to be more people on the staff, but they've lost a lot of people. He used to do the thing with Tom Hartman. He used to have Tom Hartman and then a lady who served as a co-host, and so they had like 3 people on the show. Now it's just down to Wolfson and his producer, who they gave him. I guess they gave the guy that takes the phone, the screener, guy that runs the board, gave him a mic. And Portland is one of the biggest cities in actually it's the largest city that's not fluoridated, that doesn't have fluoridated water. And recently, apparently, according to Wolfson, Randy Leonard, who's a city commissioner, whose term is about ready to expire, suggested that Portland is trying to get it up before the city council to fluoridate Portland's water. So, and apparently Wolfson thinks this is a great idea. Wants to fluoridate the water. So he said, "Well, call in and tell us what you think." So, I'm real big on the fluoridation thing. I'm a anti-fluoridation nut. So I called in and I said, "Look, these guys, I think we're being over-fluoridated," was my point, that I was trying to make. We're being over-fluoridated in the country. These SSRI drugs basically are made from fluoxetine, which is synthetic fluoride. Fluoride gives people a feeling of self-satisfaction. Well, and that all of these shooters are from Colorado. All of these massacre guys that have done these massacres, like James Holmes and the Columbine shooters, those 2 kids at the Columbine High School, and then this guy this Nazi guy that shot up the Sikh temple. He was from Colorado too. And the point I was trying to make is that Colorado has very high fluoride in their water, in a lot of their water systems, naturally fluoridated water, which comes from feldspar. You see the fluoride, it gets in everything, even the words you use. So that's about as far as I got before this guy Wilson just started jumping all over me and saying, "Oh, well, how come we're not all shooting everybody?" Well, actually, we are. I mean, it's like about over 30 deaths a day from shootings. Anyway, being that he's for it for whatever reason, it'll help with your teeth. He started characterizing me as being a crackpot. Nobody does that and gets away with it. Nobody characterizes me as a crackpot and gets away with it. So so they basically hung up on me, played some funny sounds, tried to be goofy about it. So anyway, but the point is that what Wolfson doesn't know, or at least wasn't talking about, doesn't want people to know, is that there's a Harvard study out now that just came out, Harvard study on July 24th. This is August, whatever. And that says that fluoride lowers the IQ in children. Children that are drinking fluoridated water has significantly lower IQ, and this is a study from Harvard. And it's not the only one. I seem to remember there's some other studies too. I think there was one out of Brazil or something. Well, this really, to homeopaths, is nothing new. If you look into the homeopathic materia medica, that goes back over 100 years. These homeopaths are very interested in the reaction of the reactions people have to various substances and chemicals. And if you look at what the record is, or the reference work is on fluoric acid, it says the same thing, basically. It causes brain atrophy. In other words, it causes your brain to shrink. I mean, we've known this over 100 years, that it causes atrophy of the brain. And according to James Kent, the famous medical doctor who wrote one of the leading repertories at the time, lectures on the materia medica, Kent characterized it as low-mindedness, as in low IQ, right? That it causes people to be hypersexual, and by that I mean hypersexual. I mean it causes satyriasis, which is nymphomania in men, and nymphomania, which is nymphomania in women. And it has, there's over 2,000 symptoms that are recorded in the various materia medicas for the action of fluoride on people, fluoric acid. Some of them very unique symptoms, like red splotches that flake, itchy red spots, a lot of skin problems. Well, if you look at the contraindications of fluoride currently, as seen in fluoxetine, which is a synthetic fluoride that's used in antidepressant drugs, that 1 out of 10 people are on in this country, you find that there's some of the severe reactions are allergic reactions, to these things, allergic skin reactions. And a lady had one lady called in and said that she was against it because it aggravates her allergies. And Wilson jumped all over her and said, "Well, how do you know that?" and everything. She said, "Listen, I have rights, not to be medicated through my water. You can't force people legally. You can't, but they do anyway, right? Legally, you can't force medication on people, and really this isn't even a medication. Fluoride isn't medication. It's poison. It's the most poisonous substance on the face of the earth. It's so corrosive, it'll eat through glass. It has a tremendous affinity to silica. And you spill it on concrete, it'll eat right through the concrete. So, the point is, look, if it can harden your teeth and prevent dental cavities by drinking it, what's it doing to the rest of your body? You see, if you just start laying this stuff out, you lay the science next to just common observation, just common logic, you can figure it out. You don't need to fluoridate your water. If they're just dumping this waste product from the nuclear rendering industry. I think they use it, to strip away the igneous or silica rock from uranium or something, and they got to do something with it, right? I think they use it in aluminum smelting too, or it's a byproduct of aluminum smelting. So this is a great money maker for a few. Once again, big money maker for a few people at the expense of everyone else. Not just a lot of people, everyone else, including the people that are doing it, unless they're probably living in Portland, Oregon, where they're currently not getting fluoride. So anyway, you might want to further investigate this. Take a look at some of these studies on IQ in children, and give Carl in the morning a call and tell him about what it does, does to your brain, or what it's done to his brain. Idiot.